A woman called Vesna Vulovchik, who was a flight attendant, was flying in Yugoslav Airlines when the plane blew up at 33,000 feet. Apparently, there had been a bomb which had been planted in the DC-10 she was flying in. It was later blamed on Croatian separatists, and Vesna was serving refreshments to the passengers at the time the bomb went off. And she, of course, lost consciousness immediately. When she woke up, she was on a snow-covered mountain, and she was the only survivor. Now, she suffered some mild brain damage, which caused her to lose her memory. So initially, she couldn't remember anything, although she later fully recovered. But when she was finally told what had happened to her, wait for this one, she almost died of shock. And indeed, this incident is shocking. She didn't die from the initial explosion. She did not die from the speed at which she fell, approximately 200 miles per hour. And she did not die from impact. Although the thick snow on the mountain, of course, cushioned her fall. But still, falling from 33,000 feet? Mind-boggling. But true. And strange enough, she did not fear flying. In fact, she resumed her job after she recovered. And she finally passed on 3 years ago in 2016. And it wasn't from an air crash accident. If you ask me, I don't think her world record, because that's a world record, no other human being has fallen 33,000 feet and survived. Ever. But if you ask me, that is one record I don't think will ever be broken. And for those who believe in miracles, this has to be it. This incident, of course, happened in 1972. Now, more recently, in 2009, a young 13-year-old schoolgirl named Bahia Baya Bakari was the only survivor when an Airbus A310 hit the sea, Yemenia Airways. All the other 152 passengers died. She was the only survivor. She was thrown clear when the aircraft hit the sea, and she clung to debris for 13 hours in very choppy waters before she was rescued. She suffered cuts, bruises, a broken collarbone, and burns on her knees. But that was it. Unbelievable. And it has also happened in Africa. In 2003, Mohammed El Fateh Osman, a 3-year-old, was the sole survivor of a crash over Sudan that killed 116 people. A nomad came across him lying on a fallen tree, relatively uninjured. In 1995, Erika Delgado, a 9-year-old girl, was the only survivor on an aircraft that crashed in Bogota, Colombia. The Intercontinental Airlines plane exploded in midair. She landed on a heap of seaweed near a swamp, and obviously that broke her fall. The other 52 passengers on board perished. But all this young girl had was a broken arm. In 2006, a Slovak aircraft with 43 people on board crashed in a forested terrain near a Hungarian village called Hegyse. The sole survivor, Martin Farkas, was found barely injured in the aircraft's lavatory. He had been saved by a call of nature because the lavatory area in the aircraft had very little damage, and probably that's the reason why they survived. Saved by a call of nature. That is just mind-boggling. But I have to end this with what I consider the most fascinating survival story from an aircraft crash. Julianne Kopke was a 17-year-old schoolgirl traveling with her mother to Lima when lightning struck the aircraft. There was an explosion, and the next thing she knew, she was in the air, strapped to a seat at 10,000 feet. Her final thought before she passed out was that the rainforest below looked like broccoli. When she recovered consciousness, it was morning, in the Peruvian jungle. And she was still strapped to a seat. Her arms and legs were gashed, and she had a broken collarbone. But apart from that, miraculously, she was fine. And the only survivor amongst the 92 on board. She quickly realized where the plane had fallen was very hidden, so being found was a remote possibility. And she heard the sound of running water, so she thought to herself, if she followed that running water, small river, she would eventually come to some human settlement where she could get help. So with her injuries, she slowly walked. And she walked for 10 days. Her survival instincts, of course, took over. She drank dirty water to stay alive. And then she also scooped the maggots from her wounds. That was her food. She later became a professor of biology based in Germany. And what she said many years later is worth quoting here. She said, "The accident changed me completely. I have learned that life is precious, that it can be taken from you at any moment. I came so close to death then that everyday stress no longer affects me. Trivial things don't worry me anymore." Very wise words indeed. Until next time, this is Chris Kumekucha.